By April 1945, Germany was finished. Soviet forces from the east, Allied forces from the west. Berlin surrounded on every side. In January 1945, the Soviet winter offensive began. 2.5 million soldiers, 6,000 tanks, the largest military force ever assembled in one place. Millions of German civilians fled west ahead of the Soviet advance. The war that Germany had taken to every corner of Europe was now arriving at Germany's own front door. German commanders begged for permission to retreat, to regroup, to save what remained. Every request was denied. Every army was ordered to hold. Every army was being destroyed. Allied bombing had destroyed German industry, German cities, and German transport. By February, Germany could not move fuel, ammunition, or reinforcements. The army was fighting on empty. Berlin's defense was handed to the Volkssturm boys as young as 14 and men over 60, given rifles, given 1 week of training, ordered to stop 2 million Soviet soldiers. Berlin had no real defense, no army, no plan, just rubble, old men, children, and one man underground refusing to accept that everything was over. But here is what nobody expected: the battle for Berlin would still cost 300,000 lives. On April 16th, the final Soviet offensive began. At the Oder River, the last barrier before Berlin, what opened the attack was something nobody on the German side had ever experienced. 143 searchlights, 22,000 artillery guns, all firing simultaneously at 3 a.m. The German defenders were blinded before the first shell landed. The Seelow Heights, Germany's last prepared defensive position, was hit by more artillery fire than any position in the entire war. The defenders lasted 4 days. Then the line broke. On April 19th, the Seelow Heights fell. The road to Berlin was open. 2 million Soviet soldiers began their final advance toward the capital of the country that had invaded their homeland 4 years earlier. Soviet tank columns raced toward Berlin on every road simultaneously. German attempts to form defensive lines were bypassed before they could be established. Nothing could stop what was coming. On April 20th, Soviet artillery began shelling Berlin city center. It was the 56th birthday of the man hiding 15 meters underground beneath the city. His last birthday. Soviet forces were closing from north and south simultaneously, the same encirclement tactic that had destroyed the German 6th Army at Stalingrad. This time, the trapped army was inside the German capital itself. On April 25th, the encirclement was complete. Berlin was surrounded. 3.5 million civilians trapped inside were the remains of the German army. And 15 meters below the city, one man still refusing to surrender. Soviet artillery fired 40,000 shells per day into Berlin, from every direction simultaneously. There was no safe place in the city. Every street, every building, every basement was within range. The defense of Berlin fell to the Volkssturm old men and teenage boys. Some had never fired a weapon before the day they were handed one and told to stop the Soviet army. Soviet forces broke through the outer defenses on April 26th, pushing into the suburbs from every direction. The battle for Berlin was now street by street, building by building. Street fighting in Berlin mirrored Stalingrad, every building a fortress, every intersection a kill zone. The city that had sent its army to fight in Soviet ruins was now fighting in its own. 3.5 million civilians sheltered in basements and underground stations as the battle raged above them. Food and water ran out within days. The wounded had nowhere to go. By April 28th, Soviet forces were fighting just 2 kilometers from the Reichstag. The Third Reich had been reduced to a few city blocks of burning ruins. The Reichstag, the German parliament that the Nazis had burned in 1933 to seize power, was now the final objective. Its capture would signal the end of everything. April 29th. The Reichstag surrounded, the bunker surrounded, 3.5 million dead across 6 years of war, and 15 meters underground the man responsible was writing his final testament. The Führerbunker, 15 meters below Berlin, 18 rooms of steel and concrete. This was where the man who had planned to conquer the world spent his final days. Inside the bunker, staff officers continued briefings as if the war could still be won. Armies that no longer existed were moved across maps. Orders were given to units that had ceased to exist days earlier. Every day, the map briefings moved phantom armies toward Berlin. Relief forces that had been destroyed weeks earlier were still being shown advancing on the maps. Nobody told him the truth. Most were afraid to. On April 22nd, he was finally told the truth. The relief army was gone. The war was lost. For the first time, he collapsed, screamed that everyone had betrayed him, then went silent. Senior officials descended into the bunker as Soviet forces closed in above. Some came to say goodbye. Some came because they had nowhere else to go. All of them knew it was the end. On April 29th, a marriage ceremony was held in the bunker, 15 meters underground, Soviet soldiers 200 meters above. The final act of a man who knew he had hours left. That night, he said goodbye to his staff, one by one. 15 meters underground, Berlin burning above. The war he had started ending in this concrete corridor. His final testament blamed everyone except himself. The German people, his generals, his allies, everyone had failed him. Not once did he accept responsibility for 70 million dead. While the bunker played out its final act underground above it, Soviet soldiers were fighting through the streets of central Berlin building by building, floor by floor. Soviet tanks moved along Berlin's grand boulevards, the same streets where victory parades had marched just 5 years earlier. Now they moved through fire and rubble toward the Reichstag. Every building had to be cleared room by room. Soviet soldiers who had fought from Stalingrad to Berlin said the final battle for the German capital was among the hardest fighting of the entire war. The Tiergarten, Berlin's famous park, had been stripped bare by artillery. Soviet forces crossed it in the open under German fire to reach the Reichstag from the south. The assault on the Reichstag began on April 30th. German defenders, SS troops, sailors, Volkssturm fought from every room and corridor. The building had to be taken floor by floor. Soviet soldiers fought through the Reichstag's grand halls under fire from every direction. Some rooms changed hands multiple times. The building was secured floor by floor through the afternoon. When Soviet soldiers reached the Reichstag roof, Berlin stretched before them in every direction, burning, destroyed, unrecognizable. The city that had launched a war against the world had been destroyed by it. On April 30th, the Soviet flag was raised over the Reichstag, the most powerful symbol of the Third Reich's defeat, visible across a burning city. And 15 meters underground, the man who had caused it all was already dead. At 3:30 p.m. on April 30th, 1945, the man who had started a war that killed 70 million people killed himself in the Führerbunker. The Third Reich outlasted him by 7 days. His body was carried up from the bunker and burned in the Reich Chancellery garden above the room where he died. Soviet artillery was landing 50 meters away. The fire burned for 3 hours. When the news spread through the bunker, some wept. Some felt relief they could not admit. Some simply kept working out of habit. The command structure that had held for 12 years had no purpose anymore. By May, First Soviet forces controlled most of Berlin. The remaining German defenders, exhausted, leaderless, out of ammunition, were surrendering in groups across the city. German soldiers who had been told to fight to the last surrendered in their thousands. Many had been fighting for 6 years. Most were simply too exhausted to continue. Some were relieved it was finally over. On May 2nd, the Berlin garrison formally surrendered. The battle was over. 300,000 casualties in 12 days. The most expensive urban battle in the history of warfare. On May 7th, Germany surrendered unconditionally at Reims. The war in Europe was over. 6 years. 70 million dead, and it ended with a signature on a piece of paper in a French schoolroom. May 8th VE Day. Victory in Europe. The guns that had fired continuously for 6 years fell silent simultaneously across an entire continent. 60 million people were dead, and the silence that followed was the loudest thing anyone had ever heard. Berlin in May 1945 was the most destroyed major city on Earth. 125,000 civilians dead, 80% of the city center in rubble. It would take until 1972 to clear all the debris. German civilians emerged from their shelters to find their city gone. The war that had begun with German armies marching into other people's countries ended with other armies marching through the ruins of their own. Across Europe, from the Atlantic to the Urals, the war had left a continent in ruins. 70 million dead, 40 million displaced, entire nations destroyed. The reconstruction would take a generation. The Nuremberg trials held the survivors responsible. For the first time in history, starting a war of aggression was declared a crime. Those who planned and executed it were hanged. Berlin was divided into 4 occupation zones. The city that had started the war became the front line of the next conflict, the Cold War, before the rubble of the last one had even been cleared. The Marshall Plan rebuilt Western Europe. The continent that had destroyed itself rebuilt itself, creating the most prosperous and peaceful period in European history. The lesson of what happens when nations turn on each other written in every rebuilt street. Today, Berlin is one of Europe's great cities rebuilt, reunified, free. The bunker where the war ended is a car park. The Reichstag, where the Soviet flag was raised, has a glass dome open to the public. History buried under the ordinary life of a city that survived everything. The Soviet War Memorial in Berlin holds the graves of 5,000 Soviet soldiers who died taking the city. 27 million Soviet dead in total, more than any other nation in the war. The Führerbunker was demolished by the East German government in 1959. Today, it is a car park. A small sign marks the location. The deliberate ordinariness is itself a statement. The Reichstag, burned by the Nazis, fought over in the final battle, now houses the parliament of a democratic Germany. Its glass dome is open to the public, transparency built into the architecture of a country that learned from everything it had done. The Europe that exists today, integrated, democratic, at peace, was built on the ruins of what ended in Berlin in April 1945. Every institution designed to make sure it never happens again. In the heart of Berlin, 2,711 concrete slabs mark the murder of 6 million Jewish people, built by Germany, a permanent acknowledgement of what was done in its name. The price of forgetting, built into the center of a city that cannot be allowed to forget. He started a war that killed 70 million people. It ended 15 meters underground in a concrete room in the city he had promised would last 1,000 years. It lasted 12, and the world he tried to destroy is still here. He is not